November of 2021, Atlanta. The FBI storms a $1 million mansion. On the second floor, in a closet, a Cheetos can, and inside the can, a fucking cold wallet holding $4 billion in Bitcoin. It was hidden there by Jimmy Zhong, a nerd who, 10 years ago, accidentally looted a drug marketplace and became a billionaire. And the owner of that marketplace not only didn't take the money back, he even sent Jimmy another 5,000 Bitcoins as a thank you for finding the withdrawal bug. After that, Jimmy started living like he was in a rap video. Coke, yachts, girls, until one stupid-ass mistake handed him over to the feds. This is the story of how a nerd fucked the system, but the system fucked him right back. Jimmy? Back then, who the hell would have guessed he'd grow into a legend? In school, he was just your typical loser. No friends, no respect, just slaps to the back of the head from classmates and the cold stares of parents who cared more about gas prices than their own son. The guy was barely surviving in a world where kindness was weakness, and brains were just fuel for mockery. While the world chewed him up, Jimmy built a fortress, digital, silent. A tiny room where the PC roared like a Boeing engine and every line of code was a prayer. By graduation, he was writing code like he was prepping to hack the Pentagon. But then came college life. Drugs, cheap beer, sticky-floored clubs, and the eternal question, where the hell do I get money for all this? That's when he stumbled on a forum post for coders. Someone dropped a thread about something called Bitcoin, a coin without a coin, virtual cash you couldn't buy anything with. The nickname he used there, MB300SD. Like the Mercedes model he'd been dreaming of since childhood. His logic? Buy that and boom. Instant James Bond. In reality, he was closer to James from the Walmart checkout line. And Bitcoin back in 2010 was worth less than dust on a windowsill. Not even a deranged lunatic would have thrown a cent at it. In 2009, Bitcoins were worth peanuts. 5,000 coins got you $5. Jimmy was one of the first to mine them straight from his home computer. Back then, it felt dumb. No prospects, no payoff. He gave up, but still managed to stash a little. Years passed. The price started climbing. Jimmy remembered crypto again, but now not out of curiosity, for the thrill. He started blowing cash on parties, booze, drugs, every week like it was his last. That spiral into addiction would eventually bite him hard, but ironically, it's what made him a multi-billionaire. In 2011, Silk Road appeared, the first darknet marketplace in history where you could buy drugs and illegal content using cryptocurrency. Jimmy used it like a regular customer, kept his Bitcoin right there, like a deposit account. One day he tries to withdraw his funds, and by mistake, hits the button twice. The site glitches. He gets twice the amount he had, a system bug no one had spotted before. So he creates a new account, dumps 500 Bitcoins in, and starts hitting that glitch over and over. In the end, he drains 50,000 Bitcoins. Back then, that was $620,000. Then the site owner messages him. No threats. On the contrary, thanks him for finding the bug, asks how he discovered it, and tops it off by sending him another 5,000 Bitcoins as a bonus. And Jimmy snapped. Alcohol, drugs, parties, full throttle, no breaks. Suddenly, he was surrounded by crowds of friends who couldn't care less about Jimmy himself, but were very interested in his money. He didn't just buy drinks for the group, he covered entire bars. Rounds and rounds, just to keep the illusion that someone gave a damn. I never felt like I owed him anything, one of the girls said. It was just fun being around him.
And then there were multiple times too where he would buy shots for everyone at the bars. I remember he lent me some money that I needed, and then there was never that expectation that I had to pay it back. When he was a friend to you, he was a very generous friend. I would say I came to really enjoy having Jimmy as a friend in my life.
But the only one truly by his side was his dog. Everyone else came for the wallet, and Jimmy kept burning through it all. Yachts, cars, paid affection. He got caught drunk driving more than once. One time in a bar, he casually mentioned having $30,000 worth of cocaine at home, not realizing there was a cop sitting right at the next table. Charges were filed, but he didn't get jail time. Another time, he chartered a private jet, handed each of his friends $10,000, and flew them out to watch a baseball game. There was also a shopping frenzy. Bags, belts, jewelry. A mindless spree. It could have gone on forever, but it didn't survive the next curve. On March 13th, 2019, a strange call came into the police department in Athens, Georgia. Athens wasn't Los Angeles. Here, cops usually dealt with drunk students or petty theft, but this call didn't fit that script. A man reported that he'd been away from home for 2 weeks, and when he returned, someone had broken in and stolen 150 bitcoins and $400,000 in cash. When asked if he was sure about the amount, he calmly replied, around 400,000. As if he'd misplaced a flash drive, not an entire fortune most people wouldn't see in their lifetime. And this is where it gets real. By making that call, Jimmy unknowingly signed his own warrant. The stolen money, just a tiny piece of the mountain he kept hidden. On paper, he was nobody. In reality, he was sitting on millions. And now, out of fear, out of wanting to catch the rat, he brought the police right to his door. Surveillance footage showed the break-in, a real crime. But the cops felt it. This wasn't the full story. The footage showed precision. Someone knew exactly what to grab and where to look, which meant someone close to him was involved. And the police started asking a different question, not who broke in, but who is this guy? Why would anyone keep that much cash at home? And how could he afford it without any visible source of income? On paper, he was a ghost, but he lived like he just sold an oil field. When they asked, Jimmy didn't flinch, said he'd made smart investments in cryptocurrency and real estate. No show, no explanations, just laid it out. Like it was the most normal thing in the world to sleep above a mountain of hidden cash.
I mean, I've always been on the computer guy, I've always been just that kind of thing.
I guess kind of a personal question is, how did you acquire the money? I don't even know what you do, Jimmy.
I'm in these days. I'm in real estate development. I'm the funding.
Just look at Jimmy in that moment. So friendly, a little awkward, almost cartoonish. Like some shy neighbor who just wants to chat about the weather. Not a guy hiding $1 billion crime in his closet. He lets them in without hesitation.
Hey, Jimmy.
How are you?
Hey, you remember me?
Shows them around the house like he's proud of the drywall.
15 on the wall.
You got the AR-15 against the wall? Yeah, it looks beautiful, man.
Meanwhile, the agents are quiet, scanning everything. Every corner, every detail. Anything that might answer the real question. Who the hell is this guy? The first 20 minutes are small talk. Casual, harmless, about nothing. Then the tone shifts. Where do you get your money? We don't even know what you do. Real estate, Jimmy says, flat as stone. No flinching, no dancing around, like he just answered what time it is. Then, the twist. He shows them a photo. A suitcase filled with $1 million in cash. Thick bundles like out of a cartel movie. And silence fills the room. Then, as if discussing lunch, Jimmy casually drops. I've never had sex. Well, except once. I paid for it. The agents exchange a glance. He says it with the same tone you'd use to explain how to microwave a burrito. After that, he takes them downstairs. The basement, a bar, a stripper pole, racks of servers, the full set of a lonely billionaire living in a self-made circus. But for the agents, it's all just scenery. The real prize is the laptop. Quiet, gray, unassuming, but ready to bury Jimmy alive under federal concrete. Jimmy leans back, opens the laptop, and says, like a polite nerd on a tech forum, I'm entering the password now. Please don't look. His fingers type the sequence fast. The screen lights up. And there it is. The crypto wallet, numbers, charts, balances. Looks like a bank app. But it's not a bank. It's a direct line to the abyss.
You don't have to answer it. Like, how OG are you?
I don't have vast majority of them anymore, but I mined at least 300,000.
Wow.
But you don't even have just like one Bitcoin laying around?
Oh, I mean, 1,500 on that laptop alone.
Oh, serious?
One of the agents asks, so this is a hot wallet? Jimmy nods calmly. Yeah, there's about 1,800 Bitcoins here. Then he tilts his head slightly and adds, without emotion, where the cold wallet is. I'm not telling you. No swagger. Just truth. Like saying, pizza's ordered, but I'm not telling you what kind. Except the pizza is worth tens of millions, and they all know it. He knows it. But this was just the trailer. The feature film was coming next. A cold wallet is like a vault hidden in a mountain cave. No internet connection, no digital footprint. That's where Jimmy kept the real treasure. The bulk of the stolen Bitcoin. What he showed them was just the hot wallet. Connected, accessible, used for day-to-day stuff. And right then, one of the agents, staring at the screen, realizes it. This is it. They're staring at a wallet loaded to the brim. Not scraps, not leftovers. 60, maybe $70 million in Bitcoin. Sitting there, on one screen, in one laptop, within arm's reach. When they left Jimmy's house, the air was dead silent. Everyone knew. Mission complete. They'd found what they came for. Jimmy, though, still didn't get it. That his life had just split in half, before and after. And all of it started with one phone call to the cops. If he hadn't reported the break-in, he'd still be out there, living like a king, floating in a drugged-out paradise, surrounded by cash, yachts, and fake friends. But he did. Over $400,000. Pocket change compared to the $3 billion he had hidden in the shadows. Now the agents knew. The laptop held the thread to unravel everything. But to pull it fully, they'd need to go deeper. The next visit wouldn't be friendly. The agents come back. Same faces, same fake smiles, same little play. "We still want to help you find who robbed you, Mr. Jimmy." He opens the door again. Same scene. But backstage, a different act. Now the climax is just minutes away. This time, they weren't here to chat. They came to prove that Jimmy was the guy. The one who, 10 years ago, drained billions from Silk Road. All they needed was for him to open the laptop again. And he does. Calmly. Enters the password. Screen comes to life. Access granted. One agent asks Jimmy to help with the balcony door. He stands. The other agent, fast and silent, plugs a small device into the laptop, a jiggle tool. It moves the mouse cursor just enough to keep the system awake. That's it. Control secured. As Jimmy steps outside, the agent tells him the truth. "I'm not just an investigator. I'm with the tax authority. We're here to search the property." And boom. In come the feds. Room by room, drawer by drawer. Upstairs, in a bathroom cabinet, they crack open a popcorn tin. Inside, a towel. Inside the towel, a single board computer. On it, $3 billion in Bitcoin. Under a slab of concrete, a hidden safe. Inside, wallet addresses, rare physical Bitcoins from the early crypto days, precious metals, stacks of real cash. Like a movie, but real. Later, it turned out Jimmy wasn't just hiding funds. He'd scrambled everything. He used cryptocurrency mixers, services that jumble transactions to make tracing nearly impossible. But it wasn't enough. They found it. They cracked it. It all came spilling out. And those who could have claimed compensation, the so-called victims of the theft, were drug dealers, child pornographers, criminals. None of them showed up. So $3 billion went straight into the United States government's account. Money for silence. The law in exchange for the man who robbed the robbers. A sad story. In the early 2010s, nobody cared about Bitcoin, least of all the government. It was too weird, too ownerless. And then one Bitcoin became worth as much as a cop's yearly salary. Suddenly, everyone remembered, this is property. And the hunt began. Jimmy stole from the shadows, from drug dealers, from sellers of the kind of filth that kills. He never touched regular people. But the government came anyway. Took everything, legally. $3 billion, straight into the federal budget. Jimmy, off to prison for 1 year. He asked to stay home with his sick dog. Denied. And the thief who actually broke into his house, the one Jimmy called the cops about in the first place, never found, nobody looked, nobody cared. Because the real enemy isn't the one who steals, it's the one who wins. Thank you, Jimmy, for this story. You're a legend.
How do you feel after this today? Why'd you steal the money, Jimmy? Did you think you were going to get away with it?